what does healing look like? What does change look like? And a marriage counselor may do all they know how to do. And so they may say, I've taken you as far as I can take you. And truth be told, some of the journey of healing just takes a long time. It takes a long time to change bad patterns and bad habits, and we're creatures of habit, right? So even if you really, really want to change, like I imagine most of you are women here listening to this, how many of you have ever said to yourself, I'm guilty, tomorrow I'm not going to eat bad. I'm going to eat healthy. Tomorrow I'm going to have 5 cookies today, but tomorrow I'm going to do it right. I'm going to only eat vegetables, no carbohydrates, meat, and protein. I'm going to eat healthy all day. And how many times have you said that to yourself, and how many times have you failed, right? So even when you sincerely want to change even in something pretty basic as our eating habits, or tomorrow I'm going to exercise, tomorrow I'm going to go to the gym, tomorrow I'm going to build better habits into my life, right? And then tomorrow comes and goes and we do the same thing we've always done. So we can have empathy and compassion for people who, instead of saying, oh, you didn't mean it, they might have meant it today, but tomorrow comes and they're not so much meaning it then. Right? Then tomorrow is the next day I'll change. So change is hard. And I don't think we should attack and accuse other people of not being sincere. We don't know that. But change is shown up in the action steps. So until the action steps come, change really doesn't happen. With all the sincerity and all the internal desire to change, I mean, I have been 5 to 35 pounds overweight most of my adult life. And I'm always telling myself, oh, I'm going to eat better. But it was only until last year that I really clicked into motion a different habit for myself. And I slipped over the last couple of days and I saw my weight went up a couple pounds. And I thought, I got to go back to, I don't want to go back to my old ways, right? So it is hard to change some old habits. And therefore, we can have empathy for our husbands or our wives who struggle with certain things about losing their temper or the pornography sin, all those kind of things. And maybe there's certain consequences of that we just can't live with anymore, but we don't have to hate them because they struggle. But if they're not willing to look at something and they're not willing to change something that is destructive to you and destructive to the marriage, you have to call it for what it is. So you might still stay legally married, but your marriage itself is sort of dead. And I think the church is really reluctant to do that. We're really reluctant to talk about the relationship itself. We talk about the institution, but we don't talk about the relationship. And there's certain basics of any relationship that need to happen and be maintained for the relationship to stay alive. And if it doesn't, it dies, even if you both live in the same house. And many of you know what that means.